Hello and welcome to the Nighthawk Racing F1 RST Season 3 Round 7 Blue Lobby, this week at the historical and iconic track of Brands Hatch. Firstly, at midnight you can see myself and others in the red lobby racing here on the Nighthawk Racing YouTube. Please check out our Instagram, TikTok for other content and races too. But right here and now it's my pleasure to introduce one of our very own admin and co-commentator for tonight for the Brands Hatch Blue Lobby Extravaganza. Welcome to our co-commentator and one of our long-term racing partners in crime, Pedro.
Hi everyone.
And right, let's get straight down into it. So, it's a 10 race championship. We have 2 lobbies running tonight. We had one lobby last week for basically over summer where we had the purple lobby, a bit of a hybrid of the two. But again, this week back to the normal red and blue. We have over 30 drivers registered in this championship, and as a basic overview, the racing is split into a 15-minute-ish sprint race, qualifying, and then the feature race. And across the 10 race calendar, we're on round 7, as we said, Brands Hatch this time. Pedro, can you give us a bit more information on the format for the racing tonight, please?
Of course. So, as Midnight quite explained well before, we're going to start with a sprint race that this week is 11 laps long. The starting grid is based on the reverse average points scored from the previous rounds. And we're going to have 70% fuel allocation for this one. It usually has a rolling start with 4 times tire wear and 3 times fuel usage, and there are open tire options. After that, we're going to have the qualifying for the feature race, which is a 10 minutes qualifying session in equal conditions, with the tire wear being set to ×1 and fuel consumption to ×3. And the initial fuel is 50% of the normal capacity of the tank. And it has a particularity that the tire that you qualify on and that you set, the tire that you set your fastest lap on during the session will determine the tire that you're going to have to start the feature race with. So it gives a little bit more variety, and we might see a few people opting for different strategies. And then we have a feature race that's going to be 47 laps long. It has a grid start with false start check, and there is a mandatory tire change obviously for this one, so you must use 2 different tire compounds since we don't have wet weather at this track.
Perfect, thank you very much. That should set us up nicely for the race. So I'm going to give you a few little bits of information on the points. For the blue lobby, for the sprint race, we have 14 points for a win, 12 for second, and 10 for third, and then a point reduction all the way down to 12 for 1 point. There is also a bonus point for the fastest lap. In the feature race, we have 28 points for a win, 25 for second, and 22 for third. And then in descending order, all the way down to 14th for 1 point. And again, an extra couple of bonus points this time, so 2 for the fastest lap. And it's also worth stating that for qualifying, we have a few bonus points in there too, which gives an extra dimension of strategy to the qualifying and start of the feature race. So you get 3 points for pole, 2 for second, and 1 for third, which obviously entices people to go for the soft tyre, but then obviously come start the feature race, well, it might not be the optimum tyre to be on, but we'll see. So on to Brands Hatch. So do we have a few track facts, Pedro?
Well, I do actually. So this track is located in the south of England. It hosts a whole variety of motorsport events and even car shows, for example. And well, it has had different layouts across its existence. Especially the one that we're going to be in, which is a Grand Prix layout, which one of its older versions used to host the F1 British Grand Prix, alternated yearly with Silverstone between 1964 and 1986. So this track is, a lap round here should have 3.916 kilometers or 2.433 miles. It has 9 corners, 6 of them to the right, 3 to the left, with a whole host of elevation changes. Most notably, Paddock Hill Bend, turn 1 is just features the highest elevation change. And the race lap record around this version of the Grand Prix track has been set in the old A1GP series with a 1 minute 12 and 276 milliseconds, which I must say it's probably not going to be to the reach of our drivers because of the cars they're driving in, but we should see some very fast laps incoming.
Well, it gives everyone a little something to aim at, and unlike a lot of tracks on our calendar, it is actually a physical, real track where you can actually go, and a few of our drivers have been around it in real life, so it gives you an extra air of importance coming here for our series. And I can definitely state it's a tricky track, and even on GT7 and ACC, and it's definitely going to provide a lot of good racing here tonight. So with that in mind, Pedro, we're going to have a little chat about the drivers on the grid that are ready to get going for the sprint race.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, and on to the sprint grid. So first up, we have Piper in the M6. He's had a sprint win before at Deep Forest back in Season 2, and he's going to be hoping to replicate that here today. And next up, in that little beetle, we have Steven, who has had a sprint victory this season at the season opener of Austria's Red Bull Ring. So he's going to be definitely looking to make an impact here today. In third, we have Super Simon, also in an M6. He's going to be looking for his best results so far. He's definitely capable of it, and I know he has personally driven around here, so a little bit of local knowledge might go a long way. And in the 911 for P4, we have Hasser, otherwise known as Saber Venom. Unfortunately, he's had a lot of disconnects this season, but it does look like he has finally fixed it, and he's going to be hoping for another sprint race podium. He's had one already this season. Let's see if he can add to that tally. Over to you, Pedro, for fifth downwards.
Okay, so in P5 we have our very own admin Vic Crazy Bertie, and he's obviously had a race win in Season 2. He's got multiple podiums, he's got bags of experience from previous racing seasons, and I'm pretty sure he'll be looking to try and bring the Aston Martin crew back at the factory some good results today. And next we have one of our co-founders, admin, and just an overall outstanding person, Sarah, in P6. She's obviously got lots of experience around this track in real life as well, via just track experiences or just in instructing, and I know it's her favorite track in the game. It's basically, her home track in a way, just because of how much time she spends there, how much she loves it, and I'm sure she'll be looking to have more podiums and perhaps, who knows, a race win around here today. It would be very special. In P7 we have one of our commentators and longtime racing friends in Kirk, also in an M6. He's rocking the iconic Vomit Comet and VAR dual livery. I'm pretty sure he'll be wanting to add another win to his tally today, and he's certainly capable of it. He's a very fast driver, as we know, as well. He's got lots of experience in sim racing around this track, so I'll be looking forward to see what he's capable of doing today. And in P8, and the last spot for today's sprint race grid, is Kulios in the Subaru VRZ. We all know how good Kulios can be on his day, can be very fast, and I have heard that he was pretty confident going onto today's event. So let's see if he's capable of translating that into some good results.
I have to say, I saw Kulios doing a little bit of practice during during the week, and he was absolutely lightning fast. But there's going to be a lot of challenges out there, particularly from Kirk, who has in the opening round had a very dominant victory at Red Bull Ring. And he's had a bit of a bad run of form for some of the races at lately. He's going to be wanting to impress. I mean, a lot of these drivers are certainly capable of podium or even challenge for that victory, but like yourself, Pedro, I'm going to be keeping a particular eye on Kirk and Koulios, and probably Sarah too. As you said, it's a home track, so without further ado, I think the drivers are itching to get going. Just going to see what happens with the sprint race.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we are for the start of the sprint race of round 7 of season 3 at Nighthawk Racing F1 RST. Piper is going to lead us across the line and start this race. Here we go, the car's heading up towards paddock. Piper leading to the corner, has to dart into the inside, but so far, as is. Piper actually lighting up the rear tyres coming through paddock, giving Stephen the lead, and Haslett looks like he's made a dart from P4 all the way up to P1 in one corner, coming through Druids, and Piper and Stephen get together, forcing each other wide, but that has given Haslett the lead, and Piper has gone off coming through Graham Hill. So that's an interesting start to begin with. Haslett, Sabre Venom taking the lead and trying to run away with this early on. Stephen P2, Kirk up to P3 from absolutely nowhere. Koulios in the back of the grid as well, and Sarah in P5, followed by Simon, Bertie, and Piper has not got going again. What a start, Pedro.
Wow, that was a very eventful start, like already in turn 3, plenty of action. I've also spotted, unfortunately, Bertie running wide as well at Graham Hill corner. But yeah, what a move from Haslett, I must say, into Druids. That was very brave from him.
Yeah, he grabbed that opportunity and just went with it, and he's running away at the front at the moment. We have had Stephen run wide in the back half after the back straight, and he's fallen down the pack to P6, but so far Haslett to Kirk, to Koulios, to Sarah Hawkey in P4, but Stephen in that Yeeter Beetle now being challenged by Bertie, who's recovered, and it looks like he's going to be going for the move down the main straight. Bertie up to P5, it looks like he's going to come into paddock. Aston Martin down the inside, and that move is successful. Well done, Bertie. So
yeah, and I must say it's very difficult to keep your position if you're going around the outside at turn 1, because obviously you need to be aware that the car naturally understeers, and if you try to be brave enough on the throttle, you might find yourself going into the gravel. So wise choice from Bertie to go up the inside as well. Sorry for interrupting you there, Midnight.
No, it's all good, all good. You see something? You say it. Wow, what an interesting first lap. Piper has got going again, which is good. So one of you had a wheel or controller disconnect. It does happen, sadly. And out front, it does look like Kirk is making a move, trying to catch Haslett. But a lot of these drivers are running on medium tyres, taking the sensible option. Haslett picking up a half-second penalty, and which will be served on the last little mini straight towards the main straight. Kirk with a half-second penalty too, but they're going to have to go round a lap to serve it, which will bring Koulios in on the battle. So it looks like the battle for the top 3 is going to be going thick and fast, and they're going to be coming together over the next lap. At the moment,
I must say, Koulios moving from P8 to P3 very sneakily, just went under the radar there.
Yep, him and Kirk just jumping up a load of places, being so opportunistic on the opening lap. But it looks like at the moment, Sarah Hawkey in that 650S, running on her own, but she's going to be trying to bag a load of points here, and that's just what you need to do. First, to get the points, you need to finish. But here we go, at the front, Kirk closing in on Haslett. It does look like that 911, although quick off the line. I don't know if it's just got the same speed in it as that M6. What do you think?
Yeah, I do think that Kirk is looking a lot more confident, maybe on his braking points and when to go on the power, because I believe this is one of those tracks where you just have to be more cautious than normal in knowing exactly when to put the power down Otherwise, yeah, this track, as you can see, is very unforgiving. It has obviously quite a few elements of an old school kind of track, obviously being surrounded by gravel or grass, and then the walls are super close to the track itself, so it's easy that if you make a mistake, it can be costly.
Ooh. Sorry, I just spotted Kirk trying to put the power down coming out of the Clark curve. It's so tempting around there with the camber in with the track, and particularly with all these rear-wheel drive cars, just to get a little bit squirrely coming out of the corner. But even with that half-second penalty for Haslett and Kirk, they still managed to pull away from Koulias, who had a bit of a moment, I think, through the Westfield or Dingledale bend. So they've managed to make a bit of a gap to Koulias, who's again, who's been threatening all week with some horrendously fast times to make everyone's life quite difficult around here. I think we've just lost Haslett. He's off. He's gone off at 30s. He's going to rejoin down in P5. What a shocker.
Yeah. Wow, that makes Sarah go up into the podium position, Bertie up into P4. I do wonder, because it's very easy to do, like if Haslett trying to take a wider line at the entry of the corner actually hit the grass and lost control of the car because of that.
Yeah, entirely possible. But that does leave us for a two-man fight for the victory, and it does look like Koulias he's winding up a bit now. He's starting to catch Kirk through the final sector as they come through the Clark curve down to the Brabham straight. Well, unfortunate news for Haslett, down to P5, but what is one person's bad luck as Koulias sets the fastest lap of the race is other people's gains.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's decided yet. He still has more than, well, just over half the sprint race to go, so a lot can still happen.
Yep, there is a battle brewing for P6. We have Stephen coming on to the Brabham straight, sliding that little Yeetle Beetle, followed by Simon, who, as we've said, does have some experience around here, so he's going to be definitely pushing Stephen to pick up that top P6. And it does look like Piper, after he's got going again, he's going to be trying to join that battle too. But ultimately, that battle for P1, Koulias setting another purple sector coming through Hawthorne. He's closing in on Kirk. He's going to be piling the pressure on. This is going to be the fight for the victory halfway through the sprint.
Yeah, and you can just see like just how confident Koulias is in the way that he's driving.
Yeah.
Oh, and he might go for a move there.
Yeah, Kirk struggling with that rear end of that M6, isn't he?
Yeah, I think a move might be imminent for Koulias. You know, he's lapping much faster than everyone else on track. Oh, a bit of a slide there, actually.
It is worth stating that GT7 is running new physics as of 2 weeks ago. It does allow you to play with the rear end of the car, get the back out and slide a little bit, and Koulias just proved it. Woo! I wouldn't have liked to have been Koulias at that point.
Yeah, that certainly didn't look scary. Yeah. But nice save from Koulias there.
Yeah, that was a new shorts moment as Kirk is definitely pushing his luck. I think he ran wide coming through Graham Hill. Koulias looking up the inside at Surtees. We're going to maybe trade a little bit of paint, but it was I think there was a bit of a gentlemanly room just about given there, but you can definitely see Koulias's BRZ definitely struggles in a straight line compared to that M6, so Kirk has just got to stay in front, but Koulias is going for it. Kirk ran wide, or did he give that position back? I don't know, I think he just ran wide.
No.
But they are challenging each other. Kirk, there's not a way through there, Kirk. Woo. But now Koulias has got into the lead. I can only think he's going to stay there. He's got the confidence, he's got the speed. But one thing he doesn't have is the straight line top end, so he's going to have to be careful, not make any mistakes.
Definitely, yeah. You can see just obviously. I think the fact that the BRZ has more downforce than compared to other cars definitely giving Koulias an advantage on the corners as well, which in a way makes up for the deficit that he has on the straights.
Yeah, and
they're both driving very well.
yeah, you can see.
Nothing's done yet.
Yeah, you can definitely see around here as the clouds are descending a little bit, that some drivers are much more at ease. We've seen also off camera, Haslett has got back up to P4 and he's setting a fastest first sector against the rest of the field, so we're going to be looking to challenge P3. But you can see some drivers are much more at ease around here, and you can see out front, you see Koulias just looks happy in that car. Kirk is quick, but he's unfortunately lighting up the rear end, so not at ease yet. But as often our commentator and co-host often says, Sarah, that this sprint is often a way to get into the groove and figure out the strategy for the feature. And speaking of, she's going to have to stay in the groove now. She's going to have to fend off Haslett for P3.
Absolutely, we can see that Haslett is getting some pretty good times and quicker than Sarah at the moment. But obviously, I think with Sarah's experience around this track, it should give her an advantage as well, knowing what to do. But we might see a battle very soon between these two.
I think so. It does look like Haslett, although not setting a fastest lap, just about matches his personal best. He's definitely bringing the fight. And as Sarah has responded with her own fastest lap of the race so far. Towards P8, I have seen Simon is running the soft tyres as Sarah goes purple in the first sector, so responding. But Simon is the only driver to be running those soft tyres, which is ambitious around here for this race. But we'll see what happens. This is going to be... Can Sarah absorb the pressure? Can she make the widest McLaren possible for the last 3 laps?
Well, she definitely has the experience and the know-how to be able to know what to do in these situations. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's going to happen between her and Haslett in the upcoming laps, as he's closing in more and more now.
Yeah, you can just really see in this latter half of the lap, Haslett's so confident on the brakes and round the triple right-hander. But again, it's one, as Murray Walker once said, it's one thing to catch someone, it's another thing to pass. But these two drivers are both very quick and very clean, and we're going to see a nice respect for battle, I hope. Coming down towards paddock for the 9th time. It's such a tricky corner that. Sarah demonstrates running a little bit wide, but getting away with it. Covers the inside nicely through Druids. And that's what you've got to do. If you make a mistake around here, you can recover it, as long as you can get back on the track and get to the inside of the next corner. But you can see Haslett, he just looks electric coming off some of those corners.
Yeah, you can just see him putting the power down in that Porsche. It's obviously very strong in terms of rear end downforce and getting that traction out of the corners.
Here he goes into horn form.
He goes onto the outside and he's made a move.
Yep.
Has he made it stick? No. Wow, Sarah sweeps in. He gets that place back.
Yeah, he had to compromise himself. He got the move done into Hawthorne, but then, because he went narrow, he scrubbed speed off trying to make the corner, and Sarah just undercut him, coming out of the corner. Great move by Sarah there. As they're coming up to lap, Simon. So Simon's going to have to, he's going to be aware of those blue flags as he gets out of the way, indicates off for them, and lets Sarah and Haslett through. Checking in out front, it does look like Koulias with, as we've just seen, also Bertie is coming in the pits.
Bertie's pitting.
I wonder if he is pitting for soft tyres to maybe make an attempt at the fastest lap. That's an interesting one.
Fastest lap, yeah.
That is radical. But Haslett making another move. Maybe a little bit of contact through Graham Hill, a little bit over ambitious, but both drivers live to fight another day. And just having a check in with the tyre wear, it does look like Haslett probably knows that McLaren is better at tyre wear than the 911. He knows he's got to make that move soon before the 911 tyres drop off.
Yeah, because it's another characteristic of this track, because obviously it's very difficult to overtake. There aren't many overtaking opportunities here, so it's either maybe I'd say probably Druids is the best overtaking point. Apart from that, it's either hoping that the other driver makes a mistake, or else it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
Here they go.
Here they go again through the Clark curve. Yeah, Sarah's just placing the car nicely on the inside of all the corners. Will she go defensive down the Brabham straight? Yes, she does. She's going to make Haslett go the long way around, braking late into paddock and not allowing him to cut back under. Good racing by these pair.
Absolutely, showing plenty of respect and good racecraft.
Completely agree. I'm going to check in. Bertie on those soft tyres has now started his final lap, so will we see him stealing the fastest lap, because we see Simon going off at Druids. Local knowledge not working great in the gravel trap on this one, I'm afraid. But on the other part of the track, Kyrgios looks like he's heading to a nice, comfortable sprint win. Once he got past Kirk, he didn't look back. And as we see, tyre wear between the two looking pretty even as well. Kirk's just going to have to settle down when it comes into the feature race and just utilise all that the speed he's got. But here we go. It does look like Kyrgios going to pick up the victory here at the sprint, the opening event here of the evening. So Kyrgios P1, Kirk P2, who will be P3? Sarah and Haslett still going at it. Haslett absolutely on the back of that McLaren. Will he make a move around the outside of the Clark curve? It's going to be brave round there.
It's going to be difficult.
Oh, lights up the tyre. Lights up the tyres. Caught the curb ever so slightly and held it. Sarah P3, Haslett P4. Bertie, he's going to be ruining that.
What a penalty.
He's not going to be happy with that. But he's going to be a solid P5. Had the opportunity to go for a set of soft tyres and unfortunately not being able to use them. But P6, we're going to have Stephen in the Yeetle Beetle coming through the Clark curve for the final time for the sprint, picking up P6. Simon has already finished in P8, being a lap down, and Piper in that M6 will be picking up P7. Pedro, that was a good race.
Well, there's a lot to unravel here, and I must say, I think we made the right decision by, hoping to see what Kyrgios was able to do, because he just went from the back of the grid to a sprint win with the fastest lap. That was a very impressive drive from him. But I must say, we had so much action out on track. Really good and respectful, clean driving from everyone. I mean, the battle between Sarah and Haslett pretty much until the very last corner of the track for P3 was also very good to see. And if this is...
Okay, and on to the qualifying results. So first off, we've just seen that amazingly fast lap from Kyrgios taking pole position here in the blue lobby for season 3, round 7. He set it on medium tyres as well, a 1 minute 23.7 in that BRZ. Outstanding lap from Kyrgios. In P2, we have Haslett, otherwise known as Saber Venom, on a 24.2, just about half a second behind, also on the medium tyres, someone to watch. Lee setting a 24.4 on softs in that 9.11, taking P3. In P4, we have Kirk setting a 24.4 also, but this time on medium tyres. That will put him in good stead for the rest of the feature race. Bertie in that Aston Martin will be starting P5 alongside Kirk with a 25.9. Hopefully that Aston Martin has good feature race pace. Sarah in P6 with a 26.7, also on the medium tyres. Stephen in the little Beetle, a 27.5 for P7, also on mediums. Simon setting a respectable 35.2, his first time on the Grand Prix track here on GT7, and again on medium tyres, looking to impress. Let's see what our drivers can do for this feature race of 47 laps. And here we are for the start of the feature race. Koulias on pole, flashing his headlights, eager to get going. Haslett alongside. Koulias heading towards paddock, and he's absolutely got a lightning start straight off, keeping P1. Haslett in P2, Lee holding P3 up into P2 ever by a nose. 911s going together. It looks like there's a little bit of contact coming through Durance between Haslett and Kirk. Sarah in P5 challenging for P4, but thinks better of it on this first lap. It's better to get around it and make sure you can make the rest of the race without any damage so far. So, Koulias in P1, Lee in P2 on those soft tyres. But he's going to have to make the best of it while those tyres are as fresh as they are. Sabre Venom, Haslett P3, Kirk P4, Sarah P5, Bertie P6, Stephen P7 and Simon P8. So, good opening half lap so far, Pedro.
Yeah, and I also saw Sarah going from move on Kirk at 30s, but unfortunately he went on top of that curve on the inside and couldn't quite get the traction down. Yeah, it's been an interesting start to the race for sure.
Lee's looking to make a move for P1 coming around the Clark curve at the end of the first lap, and he's cutting back down inside Koulias. We know that 911 is pretty handy in a straight line. He's up to P1 heading into paddock, making use of those soft tyres. That is a good move from Lee there, making use of his speed at this point. As you see in the background, Kurt getting a bit squirrely coming out of paddock again, but thus far Haslett holding him off. Whew. Lee up to P1, that's impressive.
Yeah, that was a very good move from him, just what they call the switchback on Koulias. Got much better traction out of the exit of the corner, and that gave him an advantage going into the main straight. And yeah, as you said, he definitely needs to make use of the extra grip those soft tires will have at the start. To try and extend his gap to Koulias, who, as we've seen in the sprint and in qualifying, he's looking very fast today.
Yeah, and he set his fastest lap in qualifying on the medium tyres. It stands to reason that when Koulias gets up to speed, when those medium tyres warm up a little bit, he's going to be a lightning quick again. And it does look like he's challenging Lee already, but as we know, that BRZ is not the greatest car in the straight line. But all Lee has to do is use that mechanical grip he's going to have from that 911, that rear engine, launching the car out of the corners with those super soft tyres, and he's just going to have to just hold Koulias back as long as he can. But it will be come that point when those soft tyres start to degrade.
And as we've seen, there's quite a difference between the tire life on the softs and the mediums. It's also depending on the car you're in. So yeah, I think if I were Koulias, well, he's looking faster than Lee actually at the moment, as he sets the purple sector. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think I'd be waiting on Lee's tires to wear out a bit more, or if the opportunity arises, just go for the move, really. Yeah, these two are just lightning quick at the moment.
Yeah, I think I was about to say he's finding the grip, and then he went right up on the curb over, I think that was Dingle Down corner, and then nearly lost it. He's lost a little bit of time to Lee in that gathering the car up, but once the medium tyres are fully heated through, and Koulias is going to be right on the back of Lee right up until... I think Lee's going to have to definitely pit first, but well, we'll see what happens with the strategy. That's going to be key round here today, as Lee does set the fastest lap at 24.5, which is pretty fast. That compared to the qualifying, which was a pole, a 23.7. That's getting up there already on full tanks. And it looks like there's a couple of battles going through. We've got a fight for P1, fight for P3 between Hassler and Kirk. Kirk looks like he's backing off a little bit at the moment. And then a fight for P5 between our very own admin crew of Sarah and Bertie. And we do have Stephen in the pits early on. Is this a retirement?
Well, I hope not, but seeing as it is this early into the race, it might well be.
Yep, that was a retirement. That's unfortunate, and but never mind. We move onwards. We do have Koulios, who looks like he's challenging for P1, so he's gathered it up after last lap. Lee doing a really good job out front, but you can already see that 911 starting to tear apart that front left.
Yeah, and you can also see not only the tire wear, obviously, because they're in different compounds, but Koulios also has a little bit more fuel than Lee at the moment, so it's all playing Koulios' advantage so far. Yeah, let's see what Lee can do to try and counteract this this pace from Koulios.
Well, so far in the series, the one criticism we could have given of Koulios is he was possibly lacking a bit of consistency, but it looks like he is finding it today, and he's absolutely sent it. Oh, he has.
Oh!
Unfortunately, that consistency has absolutely bit him. I don't know where he's gone. He's fallen down to P4, and he's off the track. Hopefully, he can recover that consistency coming back to bite him. That leaves Lee out front with a massive margin over Hassler and Kirk.
Yeah, this definitely changed everything at this point of the race. I was about to say, Koulios, what a move he was going to make on Lee there, but he lost control. And during the rejoin, I must say Sarah must have been pretty scared there, because she avoided him by, well, can't even describe really.
Micrometers.
But she was so, yeah, like she was... like they both got very close to each other. It could have ended badly for Sarah there. And, yeah, I must say Koulios as well. Pretty lucky that he didn't hit the wall and got damage on top of, you know, the time and positions lost.
Well, sometimes you got to be lucky.
Place back from Sarah. Yeah.
Well, we know.
Obviously, still a long race to go.
Yeah, and as we know, Koulios is tremendously quick around here. The one thing I was going to say is maybe his consistency, you're letting him down, and commentator's curse absolutely bit him right there and then. Sorry, Koulios. But he's still in with a really great chance of even the victory today. His raw pace around here, particularly in practice, was, I'm going to use it again, it was absolutely electric. So he's going to be trying to make his way past Sarah as fast as possible. But as we know from the sprint, Sarah had the widest McLaren on this track that we'd seen. And
absolutely.
And again,
obviously Koulios needs to play his strategy right as well. And it looks like he might be gaining time to go for it. Ooh.
That was ambitious. That was very, very ambitious. When it was legal, that is possibly one for the shooting team later on.
Yeah.
Oh, he's letting Sarah back through. Unfortunately, Bertie has seized on that as well and got through as well. That is very mature racing from Koulios. Letting Sarah back through, unfortunately, maybe not in the right time, but Bertie, the old veteran, has absolutely seized on that one and punished Koulios for it.
Yeah, very good sportsmanship there from Koulios. You know, obviously might have thought that he could have left a little bit more room to Sarah there, but as you said, probably not at the best time to really, yeah, just allow her to go past. And now he's actually challenging Bertie for the position. He might have got it back.
Yeah, it looks like he's got it, but Bertie's cutting back. No, it looks like Koulios runs wide again coming through Graham Hill.
Ooh.
A little bit lucky in the fact Simon getting out of the way there. Bertie challenging into Surtees, thinking better of it. That consistency is coming back to bite Koulios. We know the pace he's got, but he's just got to apply it at this point. But hopefully now he can settle down. There's another 40 laps to go after this. And hopefully he can settle down and focus on making the time and positions back. Woo.
Yeah, once he settles down and gets back in the zone, I can definitely see him move up the grid just with the sort of pace he has today. Yeah, just crucial at this track more than probably others to really minimize the mistakes and make sure that manage to keep the car within the white lines. Yeah, I mean he's already sort of catching up to Sarah.
Yep, that he is. He's doing his best, but he's bringing Bertie with him. Bertie had a horrible race out at last time we saw him at Daytona Oval, but this looks like Brands Hatch is a bit more better suited for that Aston Martin. It was very much a case of a car not enjoying a track, but you can definitely say Kyrgios's car, it looks like it was built for Brands Hatch at the moment. And are we going to see another interesting move from Kyrgios? I think we should stay with him at this point because he definitely looks like he can get the front end of that car into places that other people can't. Here we go.
I must say, Bertie is getting a really good view out of the battle.
Yes.
And who knows, maybe he might have a look at the opportunity to go for a move as well. Ooh.
That looks a little bit better. Well,
ambitious but clean, I think.
Yeah, I think that was through Westfield, and it does look like he gave the proper respect there. It would have given Sarah a couple of little heart palpitations as Sarah does run wide. Lee is in the pits. He was down to P3, so somewhere off screen, he was keeping an eye on his tyre wear. It was definitely shredding in the front left. So somewhere he's either had an off in the final sector, or just going into the pits, he's lost a position to Haslett and Kurt. And Kurt all over the back of Haslett now. Yeah,
he's back, trying to fight for the lead here. And I think Lee's case kind of showcasing how much of a difference there is between the mediums and the softs. Actually, a very interesting call for him for opting for the hard tires. Yeah, he might struggle initially, but then might come back to him like later in the stint.
Unfortunately, Lee also picking up a 3-second penalty, which is likely on the way into the pits across that green AstroTurf. So unfortunate, but hopefully it can come back to him later in the race. And like you said, strange going for the hards, but at the end of the day, he's had the soft tyres, he's had his fun. Now he has to think long-term strategy. Maybe that's what he's doing. But out front, Haslett and Kurt together again. These two seeming very evenly matched over this race. And particularly in the sprint as well. They were at very similar pace when all things settled out.
Yeah, like you can even see, like they have similar fuel. And the tire wear isn't too different. Maybe Haslett has a little bit better tires. But wow, these two are just showing incredible pace today and giving us another good battle here.
Exactly that, and it's good to see these two so close together and showing professionalism and a lot of respect towards each other. And now they're going to have to be very, very cautious. Like Kyrgios is now starting to set purple sectors. Here he comes. BRZ winding up for an attack. At the end of the last lap, when we saw Kyrgios getting past Sarah, it looked like Sarah ran wide into the final sector through Sterling's and dropped a place to Bertie, but hopefully she can now focus on long-term strategy, go long perhaps, and then see what she can make of the rest of the race.
Yeah, Kyrgios as well. I think his previous lap compared to Kirk's and Haslett's was almost somewhere between 1.2 and almost 1.5 seconds quicker than those two, which really showcases how good he's been. But that comes at the cost of his fuel economy. He's got considerably less fuel than those two up in front. He sets the fastest lap.
Yeah, they're going to have to watch out for him. It's the same thing we saw at Daytona Oval. You can be fuel efficient, you can go long, you can stay out in pits as long as you want, but you're going to have to, at some point, hustle the car and just get the position on the track.
Yeah, you raise a good point there as well, and I was going to ask you, I'm not sure what you think on this, but obviously the pit lane around here is shorter compared to other tracks.
Kurt, go for the move. Kurt, go for the move.
Yeah, I was actually going to interrupt there. Oh, and he's gone for it, and he's made it stick, I think.
Yeah, up into Hawthorne's. Good move from Kurt. He sees one that looked like Hassett was a little bit slow out of 30s down the back straight. Kurt got the slipstream down Pilgrim's Drop and then into Hawthorne, gets the position done. Now, can Haslett return the favour? But Pedro, we'd like to finish that point, and we'll carry on with that.
Yeah, brilliant move from Kurt there. Sounded quite impressive, especially that corner. It's not sometimes easy to make the move stick. But yeah, brilliant racing from Kirk and Haslett there. I was gonna say, considering the pit lane is shorter than most tracks, do you reckon some drivers might opt for a more aggressive strategy?
Well, I can speak from some experience in that when we do spots shorter pit lanes in this, it does invite the aggressive strategy, multiple stops to softs, or very least for mediums. So I think it's entirely possible. I mean, will any of our drivers spot that? That's the question. At the moment, Koulios is still zeroing in on these two, who are fighting each other and losing time.
Absolutely, yeah. And then it's that kind of balance that you need to find, because obviously there aren't really many opportunities to overtake. You have to make the most out of them, but if you fight too much, you're just gonna lose a lot of time. And Koulios is making the most out of it.
Ooh, somewhere Simon has had an off, and it's got fairly crippling front end damage. Hopefully he'll be coming into the pits on this lap. No, he's going to go around for another one.
Staying out.
Yeah, he's going to go around for another one. And again, it's a tricky track on GT7. Even if you've driven it before, it's always going to catch you out. There's nothing but grass and barriers around here. And out front,
unfortunately, as we've said, it's a very unforgiving track, this one.
Out front, it does look like Kirk is starting to pick up his pace a little bit. It does look like he's not gapping Haslett a tremendous amount, but he's trying to make a bit of a break for it. But Koulios, he's only a couple of corners behind now, in the sort of mid to high 24s, but the drivers in front either in the low 26s or mid 25s. So it looks like to be like a three-way fight for the win on this one.
It could well be. Yeah, I think the important factor is going to be whether the drivers manage to get their strategies right. I do always think that around tracks where it's more difficult to overtake, strategy could end up making the most difference here. And especially if the drivers who are certainly in front of you are fighting each other quite a lot, then maybe going, for an undercut or an open will really make the entire difference. I'm just worried in Koulios' case that he's got considerably less fuel than Kirk and Haslett at the moment, despite having that pace advantage. So,
well, we'll have to see if he can utilise his speed to make up the difference he'll have to spend in the pits refuelling. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Just been
exactly
keeping an eye on Bertie, as we know from some of the races, particularly in last season, we gave them the moniker of the tyre whisperer. It does look like, though, as you can see him struggling around paddock to get that nose into the corner. It looks like he's struggling with that front left tyre wear, and it does look like Sarah's starting to zero in on him now. As we do see Simon having a moment, but getting out of the way of Bertie. And Sarah.
Yeah, good awareness there from Simon, obviously, to try and let the other cars through in a good, on the best opportunity possible. As you were saying, I do think Sarah...
Oh, Bertie running wide, coming through 30s.
Make it work. Oh, he's definitely struggling there on those tires, isn't he?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the fight on track for the next lap or two. As you can see, Kirk has just about gotten away from Haslett. It looks like he's struggling more. Haslett is struggling more with the tyres, or Kirk is extracting everything out of his, and Koulos is zeroing on them. But Bertie and Sarah, yeah, this is going to be the fight for the next few laps, I feel.
Yeah, Sarah's got the better advantage when it comes to the tires. And you can see Bertie just really struggling to get the turning face done, considering how worn those tires are.
You can hear it. You can hear that Aston screaming through the entry phase of the corners. You can hear that front left dragging across the track. It's just not having a fun time. Through paddock. Yeah, you can see Sarah can just get the nose into the car. You might even see him move up into Druids. Not this lap.
Yeah, we've seen the Druids is probably one of the best corners to try and overtake someone. Although we've seen quite a few overtakes in points of this track that we might consider unusual. But yeah, I think Sarah could also be patient, and wait, maybe try and pressurize Bertie into making a mistake. Because, it's not easy, because he's quite experienced, he knows what to do in these situations. But yeah, Sarah definitely has the advantage at the moment.
Yeah, would quite agree with you. But so far, it does look like, from the sprint race, Kirk has settled down nicely. I mean, in the sprint race, he was lighting up those rear tyres all the time, just hustling the car way too hard. But it does just show that as soon as you settle down, you find the groove and the rhythm, and you stop pushing the car harder than what it will go, you automatically A, pick up pace, and B, you just disappear. I mean, he's running P1 at the moment, he's going to be happy about that. But he does have ever so slightly higher tyre wear than Haslett. He will have to be careful, as I did catch Kirk running a little bit wide through Graham Hill then. Bertie in the pits. Well, the tyre whisperer no more. It is worth saying that it's his first race on these new physics with GT7. The tyre wear has definitely ramped up a little bit, and it's something you have to work around, and particularly in that Aston Martin, it might not be favourable for his driving style, but he has time to adapt for the rest of the season. But here he goes, he's going to go to the softs, and potentially that's going to be a bit of an undercut on Sarah there, I feel.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. Looks like he's trying to cover Sarah's pit stop. Might be a very smart move from him, but we'll see. Obviously, Sarah now has clean air and permission to try and really push more on these upcoming laps. She's still got some pretty good tire life at the moment. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see if the strategies are going to work out. In this case, if the strategy is going to work out in Bertie's favour.
Well, top three all in the same corner through Druids now. Looks like they're closing up nicely. And I do wonder.
Haslett is getting close to Kirk there.
Yeah, I think Kirk's front left tyre is about to drop off. He's definitely struggling. He had the pace in the middle part of the stint. Haslett's coming back at him, and look right behind.
Yeah. There's a purple VRZ there.
Yeah, we're going to have to come up with an expression for him. Dark Law's already taken. So we're going to have to think of an expression for... I instantly thought purple meanie, but that doesn't make sense. So we'll think about something else, because it was the blue meanie. We'll have a think during this race. Answers on a postcard if you have a better one. Yeah, you're right. It does look like Kirk is struggling. That BMW, it looks like he's settled down, but the pace is just ebbing away from him. Haslett last lap was 22.6, Kirk was at 27.0, and on that one 27.3, Haslett 25.7. So Kirk is struggling.
Yeah, and Kyrgios is closing in as well. But anyway, I think he might have to pit earlier than Haslett and Kirk there because of the fuel. I mean, his tires aren't looking particularly great at the moment, but better than both of them actually. Yeah, Kirk certainly has a decision to make now, because it seems like he's losing quite a bit of time to Kyrgios and Haslett. And as you said, he's looking a lot more composed now. He's being able to control his pace better and his rhythm. But now he's just trying to think whether he needs to pit or not.
Yeah, and that BRZ is looking absolutely menacing behind these two. I do wonder if we're going to see 3 or even 4 stops from some drivers, but it's such a mixture of strategy. We could go for a 2 stop, we could go for a 3 stop. It's going to be interesting. But as we are approaching lap 19 already, are we going to see? There goes Kirk. Haslett goes round again. So Kirk in. And Kudos in at the same time. So there's going to be a battle of the pit stops. Kirk with substantially more fuel than Kudos, as you said.
More fuel, yeah. And I do wonder if Haslett's decision was the right one, because obviously he has a track position now, but I'm not sure if that front left in particular is going to hold itself for this lap.
And we have
he had a bit of a moment there.
Hawkeye into the pits too.
Oh yeah, there she goes. Let's see where she comes out compared to Verti.
I'm going to be keeping an eye on Sarah and where Lee is. Lee actually going down the pit straight. So he's still playing a bit of a blinder actually. He's still circulating up to P3. Those hard tyres might be doing him well.
You know what, I'm actually, I was having a look at Kyrgios and Kirk as they left the pits. And Kirk went for substantially less fuel than Kyrgios, although they're both on the soft tires. So, interesting choice from Kyrgios there for going for a full tank.
I have to say, on the as a veteran armchair F1 fan, I would say from Kirk, that is, on a physics perspective, probably a much smarter idea. It's less time in the pits, and it's less weight to throw around this course, which will improve his tyre wear, improve his speed. Yeah. However, he will pay for it later on when he has to put more fuel in. But maybe it's just an attempt to hold Kyrgios off later on. I mean, it might as well be a high IQ moment, but you still have Haslett and P1 still circulating. So very different strategies on show here.
Absolutely. Yeah, Lee's making that his strategy work, and he's recovering quite well, as you well mentioned before. But I do wonder if he's, I mean, those hard tires probably aren't going to last as much as you would have hoped. Maybe mostly because of the fuel, but curious to see what he's going to do next. And Sarah went for another set of mediums actually as she left the pits.
Yeah, our insider information says she's probably on a 2-stop, and it does look like Bertie's already chewing through those softs. He's got to be on a 3 or a 4-stop.
Yeah, I was going to say Sarah's very much probably on a higher stop strategy, because not only does she have to still do the mandatory tire swap, but I don't think the tires the softs will last long enough to go to the end when she makes stops for them.
Yeah, quite possible.
As well, I hope she goes for the softs. Obviously, we'll have to see. I'm not sure if the hard tires will be good enough to really, be able to last as long as one would like.
Oof. Sorry, just speaking of tyres, I've just seen Haslett's tyres. He's pushing his luck. It looks like he's not going to get to a 1-stop on this race, but he's definitely pushing those tyres. He's using those tyres as if he pays for them. stretch
Yeah,
them out.
that's
But pace is still good. 26.3 on the last lap. Still pretty good.
that's a very impressive stint from Haslett there. But I do wonder if him staying out this long will mean that Kirk will be, well, further up in the lead than what he was. I'm curious to see what that gap is going to be as soon as Haslett leaves the pits.
Fairly sure that Kirk is definitely going to undercut him, especially on the pace that Kirk is going. But he's going to depend on how much fuel Haslett takes on, I guess. But battle for
Kirk is
P3.
some pretty fast laps. And yeah, Haslett goes in. Oh! I think he might have tapped the barrier there at the entry. But it wasn't too bad.
Well, yeah, he didn't get any damage, but he's getting his mandatory set of tyres and fuel as Lee runs wide, coming through Sheens. But that does let Koulios through. But he's still making it work. Those hard tyres definitely not providing the grip that he wanted. So Haslett out half a tank. Interesting.
And on the softs.
But you can
You might see.
You can see how much the undercut has worked for Kirk. He's going through Graham Hill as Haslett is just coming out of Druids. So a good 4 or 5 seconds gain there by Kirk. But again, now it's going to swing the other way. The pendulum's going to swing back towards Haslett because he's going to have more fuel and fresher tyres.
Absolutely, and if he manages to keep lapping consistently as he was before, well, it can certainly only bring him an advantage going later on in the race. As it will at least mean that he's going to have a tire advantage over Koulios should he need to defend from him at any point.
Well,
and or get close to Kirk, obviously, because he's already got considerably more worn tires compared to Haslett.
Well, I wonder if all of the top 3 drivers, as Kirk sets a horrendously fast lap, 23.1.
Wow.
Where did that come from? Well, that might be a bet for the fastest lap of the race for the rest of the event. That was a cracker. But wow, that really took my attention. I lost my trail of thought on that one. Yeah,
well,
that's it. I found it again. I found it again. I wonder if all of these 3 drivers are on the same strategy: medium, soft, medium. I wonder if any of them are going to be daring enough to go start on the mediums, which they have done, and go soft for the rest of the race. Bertie back in already after 22 laps. That front left is dead. Woo.
Yeah, I mean...
He just took tyres.
Only changed swap? Wow, okay.
That, to me, proves that going out on a full tank of fuel and going to soft tyres is just a recipe for shredding. So, take note, Koulios, this might be very, very pivotal information for the rest of the race. Because that has put Sarah right on the back of Bertie, who's gone for soft tyres again, but Sarah with what is basically still fresh medium tyres is right on the back of Bertie. So this continues.
She's got more fuel too. So.
But on the flip side, Bertie has done 2 stops and Sarah's 1.
Sarah's 1, yeah.
So it does show you the pit's not being so quick round here. You can undercut someone, go to softs, and absolutely go for it. Interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely an unexpected call from Bertie there in terms of his strategy, but yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly there. It does show how powerful it can be, the undercut. Obviously now Sarah being on fresh mediums, or relatively fresh mediums and more fuel, it will mean that she'll also, be able to kind of make up for a little bit that difference in the strategy between her and Bertie. Yes, Bertie will still have to stop at least one more time and just put more fuel in than Sarah probably will have to.
Simon making a pit stop on lap 20. I imagine he's going to go for another set of medium tyres and a full tank. See what he does.
And hopefully repair that damage on the front.
I did notice in the last lap, although Kirk on lap 22 set the fastest lap of the race, on lap 24 he lost 2 seconds somewhere. And he picked up a half-second penalty somewhere else. And he's lost another 2 seconds off at least his fastest time. So, unfortunately, I think he's suffering from the same consistency problem that we've seen, not throughout the year, not throughout the season rather, but on the odd race that we've had with him. Absolutely electric pace. Sometimes, intermittently, with a few errors as I think his driving style puts him on the edge of the track all the way around, but it can leave him prone to the odd error, I feel. But hey, he's making it work at the moment, running P1, so what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to him, I do think that the drop-off in terms of pace between, well, let's say maybe if you compare it to other types of tires like the soft, does have quite a considerable drop-off. I think I've seen it since the new physics. I believe, let's say, even if you compare like to the mediums, obviously, when the mediums get that worn, the drop-off is a little bit more, how can you say it? A little bit more consistent in a way.
I would agree with that.
Just gradual, that's the word I was looking for. Compared to the softs. The softs is just, they have really good performance, they plateau, and then they drop off severely.
Yeah. Reminds me of the old F1 days around 2012 with the Pirellis when they first came in. It was described as the cliff, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a really good comparison there. You can see just now Kirk starting to struggle again, and I presume he'll be thinking about pitting again soon.
Yeah, I think maybe 1, maybe 2 laps. And I'd say he's in range now as Lee pits for the second time off those hard tyres. I think Kirk is somewhere within the range of going mediums to the end.
Possibly, yeah. We've seen, well, they can do 20 laps on a full tank of fuel, so it could definitely go to the end here, should we want to do that.
One thing I will highlight at this point is we are running 2 lobbies, red and blue lobby. This is the blue lobby. I do urge anyone to check out the red lobby on Nighthawk Racing YouTube, when you will see myself and my co-host Pedro racing in it. And we're not going to give you any spoilers, but if you'd like to see a few dices and a few fights on track, please check out the red lobby video as well. It's all part of one community, the Nighthawk Racing Discord and team, so come and check us out and see what we get up to on that side as well. And the one thing I can definitely say is Brands Hatch was a bit of a thrilling race in the red lobby, and this one is shaping up to be pretty interesting, particularly for the top 3 as well. But we do have a bit of a breather at the moment. There are no direct fights going on at the moment. Lee's come out in P6. Looks like he's switching to the soft strategy at the moment. I think. Oops, Simon's had a bit of an accident. Got away with it. Got away with it. It's all good. But Lee looks like he's now closing in on Sarah on those fresh softs. But again, those soft tyres, although incredibly fast to begin with, do... Oh, Sarah sliding out of Clark. But those, those fresh softs, I'll finish the point eventually, do drop off a cliff at some point.
Yeah, and you know what? Something that I was looking at this point in time is Kyrgios and Kirk have roughly the same tire wear at the moment.
Which they were in at the same time.
With different fuel loads.
Yeah, that I would say that means Kirk is definitely using his tyres a bit more aggressively as he runs wide through Druids. He's not going to be thankful for us for catching that one. But you can see that front end, he's struggling now.
Yeah, if I was Kirk, I'd definitely pick this lap, because that front left might not be holding on for too long.
So far, roughly, well, we're over halfway, but over halfway into this race, who's impressed you most in this race so far?
I think Kyrgios, especially. I mean, I think it's a bit of an easy pick just because of he had that incident at the beginning of the race, and the way he managed to recover since then has been quite impressive.
And he has
But
shown good
I must
sporting.
say,
He's shown good sporting behaviour as well.
yeah, with, yeah, you raise a good point there. When he did the move on Sarah and obviously waited for her as well. I do feel that, I mean, Kirk and Haslett have been pretty good as well, pretty respectful, consistent in a
Kirk into
way.
the pits.
Kirk actually goes into the pits.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. So far, my vote is going to be going towards Haslett, I feel. As he comes in as well.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Maybe he's avoiding the drop-off on those tyres. Kyrgios in as well. Well, all the three leaders in at the same time. Kyrgios with the most fuel. He's going to get out quick. He's going to come out right on the tail of these two.
Yeah.
Kurt going for softs.
Well, actually,
he's going for softs
again.
He's heard us. He's converted to a three-stop strategy. He's done opening along 19-20 laps on the mediums, and now he's gone to softs again.
Haslett onto the mediums, which should see him to the end, and so has Kyrgios.
Well, there we go. We've got one driver going aggressive, two drivers going, I'm not going to say conservative, but more traditional. This is really going to open up the race. Kirk has got to chase. He's effectively not running B1 at the moment. He's behind the other two, but he's going to be on the charge, trying to set fastest laps. And when he pits, he's going to come up either alongside or behind these two, the other two. So, interesting, Pedro. Oh, and
Kyrgios goes off.
Yeah, that was bad timing. Our sprint race winner not having the greatest of feature races. I can only say maybe a little bit of that bravado coming back to bite him. He was very boisterous in the Discord before this race. But to win, you've got to get to, around the course and stay on the black stuff. But it does happen when you sometimes just push it a little bit too hard. But it is a great showing from him regardless. He's come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of seasons. What do you feel, Pedro?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been one of the most improved drivers, in my opinion, in a lot of senses. And yeah, I think he's really trying to prove himself today and show what he's capable of. But at a track like this, there's a very fine margin between, really getting into the limit and being quick, or just overstepping it ever so slightly and, just going off the course. And yeah, I mean, he's still got a few laps to recover. So yeah, as long as he, as you said, as long as he keeps it consistent and within the white lines on the tarmac, she'll have a very interesting ending to the race, I hope.
You can see the way Kirk is driving. He's absolutely pushing that BMW as hard as he can go. And
I'm gonna say he's definitely on the limit there.
I have spotted Lee is running around with damage as well in P6. So I don't know if he's gone for a move on Sarah or he's unfortunately lost it into a corner, but he's running with damage on soft tyres, so it's not going to be helping his cause. But it will afford him the opportunity of pitting and potentially making a move for the fastest lap, but he's going to have to go some to beat Kirk, who looks like he's on a mission at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. I had noticed that he picked up some damage somewhere, but I really haven't been able to spot how he did it. But as you said, it might give him the opportunity to get back into the pits and hopefully attack, go for the fastest lap later on. Yeah, not being the easiest of races for him, I must say.
Speaking of not the easiest races, I was just having a look at Bertie's lap times, and lap 29 was 1 minute 30. So he's definitely struggling with that tyre. He can only go for a medium or a hard, or another stop after this for another set of softs. It's sort of in a little bit in no man's land with that strategy. Sometimes it just doesn't fall your way, does it?
Yeah, and I must say, if I was in his position, I know it's... I mean, that front left is probably going to be fully gone by the end of this lap. He's definitely brave for, staying out for one more lap.
At 15, 16 laps to the end, can he, in that Aston, can he make a set of mediums go that distance, or what would you be thinking? Another set of softs? What's that, a four-stopper?
Yeah, I think if I was him, I'd probably go a little bit more with it and perhaps go for a set of mediums. Just to, possibly put him somewhere close to Sarah at some point when she has to do her pit stop. But then again, as you said, the strategy was... Oh!
That's ambitious.
Yeah. Maybe if I was in this position, I would have pitted, but... that's very impressive from Bert if he manages to, have everything under control. It certainly won't be an easy lap for him. What I presume is going to be his in lap, because considering the amount of fuel he also has now, I don't think he'll be able to stay out for much longer.
I can only imagine that was his plan, get to a point where he knows he can pit and go to the end. So medium tyres or hard tyres to the end. But he's going to be struggling coming through Hawthorne. This left hand is a high speed third or fourth gear corner, and fourth gear, and he's running. There we go. There's no left hand turn.
There he goes.
That's going to give Sarah.
This is only good for Sarah now.
That's a gift. Unfortunately, unfortunately, Bertie with a spin. Watch out, Lee. Bertie choosing the exact right time to stop before rejoining. So a bit of a tactical error there from Bertie, but it does happen. It's so easy to do, particularly around Brands Hatch. And the new physics, the new tyre wear model biting our tyre whisperer this time.
Yeah, it's... now I feel that in these situations, you can obviously try and stay on track for a bit longer, but there is a much higher risk than there was before. And Bertie unfortunately paying the price here for staying out for an extra lap.
Yeah, he must be coming in at least now. Just eyeballing round the track, it does look like Kirk has got a significant margin on Haslett now, but we know he's going to have to stop again. As you do see Kirk in the background there, making his way down the pit straight. Bertie in for his, I presume, final pit stop. We'll see how much fuel he takes on.
Yeah, and Kirk doing exactly what he needed to do, just get on the pace as quickly as possible on those softs and really go for it. If what I presume his next stop is going to be for another set of softs, don't think it could, he's going to go for any other tire other than the other set of softs. Yeah, he's definitely doing what he really was supposed to do here in this stint.
Bertie, 80% of fuel, mediums. It should be going to the end now, but I think that fight with Sarah is possibly gone. But Sarah's still to use the second set of tyres, but I imagine she's going to be quick. That McLaren, good on tyres. She should be able to manage 10 or so laps on the set of soft, so she'll be quick towards the end. I've been keeping an eye on the other drivers. Koulios and Kirk do keep picking up time penalties, so it's going to make life interesting towards the end for Kirk if he's... Ooh, Koulios pushing his luck. Koulios pushing his luck.
I just spotted that as well, just as you were saying it. That was...
Only thing I'm worried about, does Haslett have enough fuel? Because he has just a little over 50% of fuel, 13 laps to go. That's going to be close.
Yeah, I do think that Kyrgios went for a full tank as well, just to be safe. I can't quite say at this point if that's going to be enough for Haslett, but it should be.
Well, one thing we should start talking about at this point is the championship positions. At the moment, Kyrgios is running. He had an aim at the beginning of the season to finish in the top 10. He's currently in 10th on 156 points, with Swizzy and the Dark Lord ahead of him, neither of which are racing today. So I think he's going to be jumping up to P8 or even P7, depending on what Coach does in the red lobby. So this race is going to be vital for the championship finale positions.
You're quite right there. Yeah, obviously, Kyrgios needs to really make the most out of these results, and I think he's quite being able to do that today. And I do wonder, he's not too far away from Haslett at this point. And he obviously knows that he can push a bit more because he doesn't have the concern of making it to the end in terms of fuel. I do presume that Haslett put enough fuel in so it doesn't, have to worry about fuel saving. But I mean, Kyrgios just filled the tank, and it definitely guarantees that he won't have to look at the fuel gauge anytime soon.
Yeah, sometimes it's that little bit of confidence that you need, not to have to look at another thing. And it's something in racing we've fallen foul of a couple of times, Pedro, where we suddenly go, "Oh, fuel!" So hopefully it's like Kyrgios is done on purpose and not lost any time in the pits where he didn't need to. But having a look round, I'll let you finish that point, and then I'll give a little chat about the championship standings.
Yeah, I mean, what I was gonna have, it's, well, from personal experience, I usually tend not to really take any risks with the fuel, but the only time I did, well, I can certainly say it cost me.
Yeah, and I know what you're referring to, Le Mans at the end of season 2, but that was a hell of a race, particularly in hindsight. And it's something we learn from, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just obviously these mistakes, as much as you don't want to see them happen, definitely learning opportunity, vital experience that you gain for upcoming situations. Yeah, as Lee does another stop actually.
He does indeed, and he's fixing the damage. What tyres has he gone to?
Softs.
Yep, softs to the end.
Again.
11 laps. That's going to be... Do you know what? I'm going to call that ambitious. I'm not sure he's going to make it on that 911 with soft tyres.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, I think he's definitely put enough fuel in so he doesn't have to worry about it. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think it's going to be pretty tight towards the end.
Looking out front, Kirky's got to be in this way, pushing his luck there. Woohoo! Yeah, Kirk has got to be thinking, you don't want to go through this drop off of tyres. You want to be able to push the tyres as hard as possible for as long as possible. The longer you go on a set of dead tyres, the less time you're going to be able to spend on a set of fresh tyres. So he's going to have to pit this lap. But yeah. Kirk, at the moment, running P17 in the championship, does go one more lap.
Does one more lap, yeah.
He's only a point ahead of Lee, who is running in 5th today. And Big Crazy Bertie on 98 points, running in P19. So 17, 18, 19, Kirk, Lee and Big Crazy Bertie going to get some good points on the board for absolute certain. But all three of them behind our very own Sarah Hawkey on 123. Yeah. So Kirk he'll be passing Hartman on this one in P16 because Hartman's not racing this week. But we might see Kirk jump up to about P14 with passing Sarah Hawkey. But running P4, she's going to be getting a good set of points herself.
Yeah, definitely. I think it has been a good round for Sarah so far. Obviously, still needing to finish this race. but she's looking pretty. She's possibly looking for a pretty solid bunch of points scored here today. That's her favorite track, so she might be going into the pits soon because of that fuel. She's staying out for another lap.
Yeah, I think she'll be in next lap. I do agree on that. But we're going to talk about points as well. Haslett running P2, sitting in 21st in the championship. Not as high as what he would have liked, but it is down to the sheer fact he has had, I think, 3 disconnects in the last 4 races. So Kirk into the pits for P1. This is the crucial move for the rest of this race. Kirk had absolutely taken that front left down to the canvas. So will he come out in front of Haslett? I think he just might, you know.
Ooh, I'm not sure. It's going to be very close. I think he's going to feel, I think he's probably going to lose a little bit more fuel in, so that he knows he's going to make it to the end, without a doubt.
He's come up directly in front of Haslett.
He actually has.
Measured perfectly. Wow.
That's pretty good. And he now has the tire advantage as well, Kyrgios and Haslett, so...
IQ 300
for a Kirk win, possibly.
Yeah, IQ 300 moment from Kirk there. He's done it. As long as he can keep on the black stuff and then keep those soft tyres in check for the rest of the stint.
I must say, I think the last stint he had was the most important one in order for him to make the strategy work and keep that P1. He's done a brilliant job on that previous stint. Sarah goes into the pits actually.
Yeah, Sarah taking on her final fuel stop. Clearly going to the end on this one. Only 9 laps left to go. Will she come out ahead of Lee? I think she just might do. She's only got to take on a minimal amount of fuel. Go to soft tyres. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Lee coming down the Brabham straight. About 4 or 5 seconds clear of Lee. So, Sarah, it looks like it is she has secured P4, as Kirk may have secured the win. And he's gone out front already.
Yeah, you can just see the difference on those tires. It's just massive. Kirk obviously, well, having much fresher tires compared to Haslett and Kyrgios, and yeah, soft tire, well, fresh softs versus old mediums.
Bertie in again.
Bertie's in again. Is he going to go for the fastest lap?
That has really caught me off guard. I wonder if he had some damage, or he wants to, like you say, go for the fastest lap. But I thought he... Oh, do you know what? We'll have to wait and see what happens to Lee if he can get to the end of his stint. But that may have really cost Bertie a shot at 5th on this one. Because I'm not sure if Lee can get to the end on that set of tyres.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. Lee probably really going to struggle towards the end of this stint on the softs. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting call from Bertie there.
So I'm still worried a little bit. Kudos in!
Oh wow!
Okay,
well,
interesting.
Well, put more fuel in. Okay.
I don't know how to react to that.
I'm just as surprised. I thought that when he went in last time, that with the full tank, he would have been able to go to the end without any issues, but...
Is that possibly a switch and bait?
Probably not the case.
Is that a switch bait? Is he trying to lure Haslett into pitting?
Possibly.
If that's the case, that's IQ 3000 move. Because you can't accidentally go into the pits in this track. He's definitely done that on purpose, but I didn't see him take on much fuel. Was that a splash and dash?
Basically, yeah. He put very little fuel in. Well, and I thought initially that he could try and go for the fastest lap, but
Yeah, so you think if you're stopping, you'd take on fuel and tyres whilst you're there.
yeah, because considering the gap he has to Sarah, he could have probably done that quite comfortably.
Oh, Kirk's off!
But
Kirk,
oh wow!
Kirk off at Clark Curve. He went a little bit too hard and went across the grass. Hassler into the lead in the closing stages. Kirk's going to have to use every little bit of talent he's got.
Off himself for a little bit there.
Yeah, it ran a little bit wide coming through paddock, but maybe the excitement of being back into P1 has almost caught Hassler out there. Kirk's going to have the grip. This is going to be setting up for a grandstand finish on this one. Kirk's going to have the grip, but he's not going to have it for long.
Yeah, and I think if he really wants to try and fight for the win again, he's going to have to do qualifying laps until the end of the race.
Koulias isn't far behind. If it wasn't for that pit stop, he'd be running in P2 solidly right now. Do you know what? I don't know what to make of the strategy in the last 5-6 laps.
Yeah, I'm so surprised with... I still don't know how to react. I'm going to paraphrase you there. Like, I still don't know how to react to that pit stop from Koulias. It was so unexpected there.
But yeah, Kirk with the error on that lap as well. Has he thrown away the victory?
Well, we will see. He still has a few laps left, but as you said, will he be able to make the most out of the grip he still has on those tires? And yeah, going back to what I said a few minutes ago, he's definitely going to have to do qualifying lap times from here until the end if he wants to catch up to Haslett at the very least.
But speaking
he has been able to do, actually.
Yeah, but speaking of grip as well, Haslett on those aging medium tyres is going to be starting to struggle as well.
Definitely, you can see how much Kirk has closed in already. His last lap was almost, well, it was 1.6 seconds quicker than Haslett's almost.
I think with Haslett running wide at the first corner, the surprise of getting past Kirk, it's cost him massively. But here we go. This is going to be the grandstand finish we've been waiting to see. But I'm still surprised by people like Koulias and Bertie having pit stops, but potentially throwing away positions.
Going back to the discussion we were having about Lee, his front left is not looking good.
Yeah, I did see Kirk is zeroing in on Haslett very quickly. Now he's going to potentially make the move down into Clark. That was ambitious.
Wow.
That's two drivers on that absolute A game right there. Haslett saw him coming, gave him space, and Kirk dives down the inside, taking P1 back after his own mistake, threatening to lose him the win. So, well, Simon getting out of the way through Druids and letting these two leading pair fight for the rest of it. But we're going to get to a point where Kirk, if he's going to continue to push, may cause himself another issue. But I'm going to start to worry about the state of those soft tyres. They're going to drop off the cliff any time now. Bertie in again.
Again? Wow.
It's 5 stops? 6 maybe?
Wow. Is he going to put more fuel?
A little bit of fuel. I think you're right. Maybe he's going for an attack on the fastest lap. Interesting. But yeah, I think if Bertie had stayed out on those mediums, as long as he didn't have damage, Lee's pace now is going to be dropping off a cliff thanks to the tyres. But out front, Kirk may have done enough now. He's going to have to be wary. He's going to have to not take the life out of those soft tyres. I really just don't know what to make of this last few laps. Koulias, if he hadn't pitted, would be running perhaps P1, P2, or where he is now. I'm not sure. Kirk has played a strategic blinder in the last half of the race, and it looks like he's reaching that cliff. His space is dropping off.
Yeah, his mediums and Koulias' mediums are not looking great at the moment. Well, obviously it is to be expected considering that, well, how long they've pitted. But I'm just as surprised as you. Like, I'm really lost for words in terms of the strategic calls I've seen here. But definitely showing that there are a lot of, you know, strategies you could have opted for around here. And it's interesting to see, obviously, how the drivers make certain decisions at some points of the race. And Lee, he's gonna have to pit at the end of this lap, surely.
Well, 2 laps to go. He's going to be a lap down, so it's 1 less lap to do as well. No one behind him, but he's about to be lapped by Kirk. Who Lee was fighting for the lead earlier in the race. I can only feel that the strategic choices haven't worked out well for Lee.
Oh,
Yes, there he goes.
In.
Yeah, maybe he wants a shot at a personal best or fastest lap. But again, if Bertie, we called it. If Bertie was still circulating on those mediums that he was on earlier, he would be ahead of Lee now, I could only feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Obviously, it's easy for us to, say that now, but obviously, in the heat of the moment, sometimes it's not easy to make certain calls in terms of strategy, which was also the point that I was trying to put across as well on my previous intervention there. And yeah, I think by this point Bertie will be ahead of Lee, giving him a few more extra points. But I mean, it's legitimate that Bertie is also trying to go for the fast lap, so I guess we will, yeah, we will have a proper think about this one once the race ends.
I think we have to repeat that it is Bertie's first race on the new physics as being on holiday for Autopolis. He is effectively not a race behind, but he's going to be gaining knowledge behind a load of drivers which have already completed significant mileage at other tracks. So he'll be learning from this. As Kirk starts his final lap. Despite a scare, it's definitely looked like he's managed to be coming away with a win today. And Hassler is going to be nursing that car over the line with that fuel, I think.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, even Kyrgios might have to do so, but more because of the tires rather than the fuel. I must say, brilliant strategy call from Kirk today. And I think the most crucial stint, as I've said a few times now, was the previous one. Because if he hadn't made that one work, he could have put himself in a bit of a difficult position coming into these final laps.
Lee unlapping himself through Hawthorne, by the way, against Kyrgios. Just showing you the power of new tyres, particularly around here. But what a drive from Kirk. Can't really fault him other than a error in the final corner about 5-6 laps ago. But he has made that strategy work, and full credit to him. And he's gone from, where did he start? P4 to taking the victory here today at Brands Hatch at round 7 in the feature race. Congratulations to Kirk. Hassler coming home with a wisp of fuel in P2, followed by Lee lap down, Kyrgios P3, and Sarah, who's just coming through Graham Hill now, on the lead lap, will be taking P4. That is secured already. Bertie, unfortunately, having a big accident somewhere in the Dingle Dell and Sheens area. So, not the greatest of races for Bertie, but he's going to be happy to be picking up points regardless. And Super Simon, it's been a challenging race for him. I don't think it's his best what we've seen so far, but it is a tricky track, and he's extracted a lot out of himself over the last 2 seasons, and he'll be looking forward to another good performance on the next race, which will be something we're all looking forward to at St. Croix B.
Oh yeah, that you're quite right there. And wow, Brands Hatch really treated us to a good set of races today, hasn't it?
I completely agree, and also check out that red lobby as well, which you will see our very own Sarah Hawkey taking P4. Sarah Hawkey will be commentating on that alongside Kirk himself, our winner. So we'll have some interesting discussions. But Pedro, wow, that I'm going to ask you straight off the bat, driver of the day.
Oh, I mean, I don't think I can. As much as I'm impressed, obviously, with Haslett and Kyrgios today, I think I can only give it to Kirk, because he opted for a different strategy. He's really done everything he could to make that work. You know what? I think the more I think about it, I'm kind of dividing myself, because then again, I'm also very happy to see Haslett score a podium, seeing as he was plagued with the bad luck of getting disconnect for so long, and he's got such a good result here today. Really mature drive from him, really good drive. But I think, I'm gonna give it to Kirk, ever so slightly. I think it was, just more impressive, the fact that he did an extra stop, and he really made the riskier strategy work.
I hear you. And it's a very worthy recipient from yourself on that one. And Kirk did go from P4 all the way to the victory on that one with it looked like he changed his strategy halfway through. He knew that maybe he had observed some drivers picking up time, particularly on the soft tyre stints. But that strategic call from Kirk was sublime. I will absolutely give him that. For me, I think we're going to have to give this a joint award on this one. But for me, I'm going to have to give it to Haslett. Despite Kyrgios having a, I think, dominant sprint win, his feature race, unfortunately, that consistency did come back and bite him a little bit. And maybe he did pit for a little bit of a splash and dash of fuel in that final stint. But if he did turn down his engine a little bit, perhaps lifted and coasted, I think there's some options that he'll be wanting to go over and explore in hindsight, maybe at least looking forward to Cinquar for the next race. So for me, I think on balance, I think I have to give it to Haslett, because I think he's been great through both races, and he's been entertaining and such a gentleman on the track as well, provided us some good racing. So I think joint Kirk and Haslett on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's pretty fair. I say they're both very worthy winners of this prize. I mean, I must say, obviously, this doesn't take down anything on Kyrgios in any way. He had a very, very good event today. Obviously, taking the sprint win, as you said, maybe few of those mistakes really costing him in the end, but he was still so quick, and the way that he recovered from that mistake at the beginning of the race was sublime. And obviously the sportsmanship he showed today as well. It was still a pretty good drive from him regardless, but I think Haslett and Kirk have to take it on this one.
Yeah, valid point. So I think you're exactly right. The recovery from Kyrgios and showing that sporting behaviour, handing back the position to Sarah, unfortunately getting nabbed by Bertie at the same time, was outstanding from Kyrgios. Top three in particular, the pace and their awareness on track has been nothing but exactly what we hope to see in Nighthawk Racing in the F1 RST Championship. And quite frankly, that brings me now to looking forwards. We have 3 races left of this coming season. We have up next St. Croix B, which will be a dry race, but it's going to be an interesting one. It's not a track that many drivers have either been to before or raced regularly. It is an interesting and challenging track, one of my personal favourites, which is potentially why it was suggested for the calendar. But anywho, after that we have a Nürburgring, which will be a scheduled wet race, and following that we have another scheduled wet race which is postponed from earlier in the season at Dragon Trail Gardens. So 3 very entertaining races to come. And at the moment, the championship looks like it's hotting up, particularly in that mid-pack. Haslett will have a statement of intent, and so will Kirk and Koulios, all moving up the grid on that one today. So, well, what can I say? But I think this race bodes well for the rest of the season, and I think there's a lot to look forward to, Pedro.
Yeah, and I also just wanted to give a word of appreciation to Sarah as well. Obviously, you can say that, you know, her drive wasn't as impressive as the guys in front, just because she didn't, you know, necessarily have their pace. But I'd say that it wouldn't do justice to how well she did today. Because yeah, just still getting a P4, and she just kept it so consistent. And, like, she was so composed throughout the entire race, like no mistakes. Did the right calls as well when she had to in terms of the strategy. And yeah, it's good to see her get some pretty good results here today at her second home, as she calls it.
Quite right. And the sprint race podium as well.
Sprint race podium too. Yeah, just to add another one to her tally.
It's been a good couple of races for her, particularly since the near win at Daytona Oval, which I know she's not at all upset with Kirk, but we'll get to that another day. But yeah, it's been a good set of races for Sarah, and she's doing well and getting the best out of herself. That consistency is really coming in this second half of the season, and it's something that we've seen flashes of brilliance as well from Lee, who nicked P3 on the qualifying. Unfortunately not be able to join us in the sprint, but Bertie as well. I think he'll be as much as he enjoys racing.
This race,
he'll be learning a lot from this race, and he'll be looking forward to the next season when he can change car. So it's one of those. He's definitely getting the best out of himself, but I think at this point the car is letting him down a little bit, particularly on the tyre wear side. And he'll be looking just to maximise what he can do and enjoy the races from here and look forwards.
Absolutely, yeah. I must say, just a massive shout out to all the drivers who took part in this event today. You know, it was never going to be an easy track to drive around. As we've said a few times, very unforgiving. And yeah, perseverance really paid off for those who took part in this event. Yeah, maybe, you know, some people might have not had the results that they were hoping for, but you know, next race might be a good opportunity for them to come back. So yeah, in my opinion, it's going to be the most difficult track on the calendar, the most challenging one. Hopefully it can give us some good moments, just like Brands Hatch did today.
Agreed on that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because, as you've also, just as you, like, one of my favorite tracks. Like, both of us have had some pretty good battles in some open lobbies and other races. So, yeah, a very challenging track, and one that has really good potential for racing.
Well, I will.
As you've said as well, not a track that we've seen in other types of league racing. So,
agreed.
Yeah, happy to see how that goes.
I will share an amusing anecdote about Sinqua. That one of the first times we raced on a GT7 back when it was first released, there was an open lobby which was either myself or Sarah hosted, and the track it's never used either on a daily or many open lobbies, and we went to, I think it was layout C, and all the drivers went the wrong direction at turn 1. So that tells you, and a lot of these drivers were A-rated drivers, and including myself. So, and it was quite a number of us went the wrong way. That shows you how often that track is used. But it's going to be an entertaining one, and just coming back a step, I think Brands Hatch in the blue lobby here tonight has provided us with a really great showing, and I do urge anyone watching, come and check out the red lobby as well, because it was fun. And without giving you any spoilers, keep an eye on what happens in the last quarter of the race, because some of it is thrilling, particularly the same as here. Kurt gave us an absolute showing here today, and I will say keep an eye on a few drivers. So without further ado, I'm going to bring this one to a close, Pedro. I'm going to say thank you very, very much for this one. Second time alongside myself in commentary, and I hope to see you here for a few more. So.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. Very grateful for having this opportunity to be here again commentating. I hope everyone enjoys it.
And if anyone wants to come and join our little family, check the link below in the YouTube tab, and then see if you want to come and join our Discord and join in on some of the races, because they are fun. It's a good family-friendly community, and we're all, well, most of us are nice people, but that's besides the point. So, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you all again soon for a very least in Qua B and the next race. So, thank you to all the drivers, everyone on the admin team, and let's move on to the next one. Again, thank you, Pedro. Catch you all later.
Thank you as well. See you later, everyone.
That was a great race in the blue lobby. I saw some terrific results from drivers I didn't expect to be that fast. They really pushed me to my limit at the end there, which I was super surprised about.
This track is a driver's nightmare. It's all about survival and keeping it clean, pure concentration, and that was my main objective. I had great fun battling when the time came with Kirk and Quilios. Even though we were on different strategies, we seemed to converge at the end. Kirk's aggressive strategy paid off better than my conserved strategy, but I had great fun.
Hey everyone, it's Hawkey here again. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, I was quite surprised with my result in the sprint race around Brands Hatch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was quite a good race from start to finish. And if you know me, you know how much I love Brands Hatch and driving it in real life and on the game. Although in the game it never quite gets it, you know, how it is in real life. So I advise anyone and everyone to go to Brands Hatch at least once. But nevertheless, going back to the sprint race, it was a pretty good race. Towards the end, I got into a little bit of a battle with Haslett, aka Dave, and thoroughly enjoyed that. Tried to make my McLaren as wide as I could around some of the corners. But yeah, no, obviously a lot of respect between me and Haslett racing side by side through some of the corners. Yeah, really enjoyed it. So big shout out to Haslett. Other than that, obviously feature race was a completely different story, but still came away with a quite decent result, I think. So overall, very happy with my result at Brands Hatch. Like I say, it's a track that's closest to me, and I get the privilege to instruct around every once in a while. So yeah, it was good to race it in GT7, and hopefully around the next track, although it's going to be very difficult, I'll try my best. Still working on that consistency. But yeah. Glad to be on the podium once again for the sprint race, but I shall see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed the commentary. I know the commentary team have done an amazing job, and I can't wait to watch it back myself. But good luck for the next round. Hope to see you all there.
I am very excited. Well, I'm very excited with a double podium finish at Brands Hatch. Although in the sprint race, Koulios was just too quick for me to catch him, so it was a very deserved win there. For Koulios in the sprint, and then in the feature race, although I had some slight technical problems towards the end of the race that cost me the lead to Saber Venom. Yeah, to Saber Venom. Luckily the soft tyres are still in good enough shape, so I could close them down quite quickly and make that move stick. I just want to say thank you for the very clean racing with Saber Venom or Haslett. I think especially around a track such as this, is very difficult to make a clean move unless both parties are willing to make the move work. And I just want to say thank you for Haslett for the clean, fair racing, and congratulations to Haslett as well for the second place in the feature race. I look forward to racing him in a few weeks' time. And I say bring it on, and hopefully double podium again for next round.
Next race in the Nighthawk Racing F1 Resti Season 3 Championship Seat Qua B